Is he the savior of the Republican Party? That's what more and more Republicans are saying about Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey. So Governor Chris Christie rolling to an easy re-election in a Democratic state, a state that easily elected Barack Obama not once but twice to the presidency at a time when more conservative states like Virginia are electing Democrats as governor. Some Republican leaders, like Joe Scarborough, are saying that Chris Christie should be the standard bearer for 2016. Now, others, like Sean Hannity and Coulter, are saying, no, Chris Christie is the worst. Here's my take on this. I do think Chris Christie, especially if his lap band surgery continues to have success and he loses weight, could be a great candidate for the Republicans in 2016. And he fits the mold of someone who wins. If you look at the last 50, 60 years for Republicans, ask yourself this: when have they ever lost by nominating somebody who has been a governor, been reelected, and successfully served for all of or most of 2 terms? They've never actually lost when they've done that, because this is someone who by definition has been tested, has shown he can govern. And even though I didn't love everything about Ronald Reagan, he served 2 full terms as governor of California. George W. Bush was at least reelected and served 6 years as governor of a large state of Texas and didn't make things demonstrably worse. And when Republicans try to get cute and elect or nominate a senator or someone like a Mitt Romney who was so unpopular he could not have been reelected governor, they end up falling flat. Now, here's the problem. Well, let me give you the pros and cons of Chris Christie. He actually governs. He does make government work, and he doesn't spend all of his time trolling Democrats and trolling Obama. That's the real problem with all of these Republican senators. The Marco Rubios, the Ted Cruzes, the Rand Pauls of the world. They don't actually spend any time governing. They get up each morning and saying, how can I be a troll to Barack Obama, say something wildly demagogic, attack Obama on something where there's no evidence, just to get the talk show host to talk about me, and to get right-wing extremists to slobber all over me. And that's simply not a good way to position yourself as being presidential. Now, here's my prediction. Chris Christie's going to have a lot of money and support running for president, but he's not going to get the Republican nomination. There's simply too many haters out there, extremists, Klansmen without the sheets in the Republican Party today, and they want someone who is a vehicle for their hatred. They want a Ted Cruz or someone like that. And they just are not interested in a guy like Chris Christie who can work with people to get things done, make government work, be fair and thank President Obama when need be. So they're going to just vilify him. They're going to denounce him as not a mushy moderate, but as an actual liberal, which of course he's not. Chris Christie is very conservative. He's just not a troll conservative and a radical extremist the way many conservatives are in Washington today. So I think he's not going to get the nomination. Here's my hope. He then runs for president as an independent, splits the Republican vote. Hillary Clinton wins easily, very easily, in the largest electoral landslide in the history of this country. That's my hope and semi-prediction. Rand Paul continues to dominate the news. And you really have to give credit to Rachel Maddow. I believe she broke this story, but she's been all over it. All these cases of plagiarism with Rand Paul. And it's downright funny to see how he's caught red-handed, word for word, out of his mouth, in his writings, in his books, in his columns. And then he says, oh, I didn't footnote it properly, and I'm being singled out worse than anyone else. It's not an issue of footnote. You can't footnote something that you took word for word and didn't put quotation marks around it. That's still plagiarism. It's interesting to me the very same conservatives who always talk about people need to be responsible, we have no personal responsibility anymore in America, when they're caught red-handed doing something wrong, they never want to take personal responsibility. They're always blaming somebody else. Oh, it's the liberal media's fault. It's the haters' fault. No, Rand Paul, it's Rand Paul's fault. And Rachel Maddow is absolutely correct. We're learning a lot about Rand Paul now. We're learning that he cannot accept criticism, that he cannot learn, that he cannot handle a crisis well, that he doesn't have the ability to change a storyline. And hey, from my perspective, I hope the Republican Party nominates someone like that. But you have to think the Republican Party elders, the funders, the top party brass are making notes of this, and they are moving Rand Paul to the bottom of the list right now. And more nonsense from the Republicans in Washington. They are now demanding that Secretary Sebelius resign because of Obamacare. I think President Obama should give her a raise for putting up with all this nonsense. She's working hard to get the Obamacare website running smoothly. Here's the thing. I'm not suggesting that no Democrat can ever be incompetent or fired for due cause. But the one thing we know with absolute certainty is that the Republicans would not allow anybody to fill her position. If you know in advance you cannot fill a position, why in the world would you fire the person you have? I dare say you go to any private sector CEO in America and you say, okay, you've got someone, maybe you're not crazy about this person, but they've never done anything illegal or unethical, but some things have not been perfect under their tenure. But if you fire this person, you're going to have to keep that position open for the duration of your tenure. Would you like to fire that person? I guarantee you there's not a CEO in America who would fire that employee. Something beats nothing. And the Republicans have shown their strategy is they will do whatever it takes to try to destroy this government, to try to destroy Obamacare. So you know, if Obama actually fired her and started nominating new secretaries for this position, every single one of them would be voted down by the Republicans. There would be filibusters. It would be another 2 years of nonsense. So I dare say Secretary Sebelius has the safest job in Washington today.